As Fluttershy, Shadow Weaver, Discord, and Alcima Dimitrescu stepped back into the lobby of the Four Corners Hotel, they were followed by the man and woman they'd met inside. The man stepped forward and said,
"Follow me."
The group followed the man, who led them to a large blue door. He opened it and said,
"You may enter."
What's beyond this door?
Fluttershy asked. The man said,
"The Dustface Ghost's lair."
The Dustface Ghost. Those are the legends we've been hearing.
Alcima Dimitrescu asked.
Indeed.
Fluttershy had 1,000 questions. If the Dustface Ghosts were behind this door, then who had been haunting their nightmare lair? She wanted to know everything about the Dustface Ghosts, but her companions were in a hurry to leave. Shadow Weaver said,
I believe we stayed long enough.
As the foursome stepped into the room, they looked around. In a far corner, a figure sat on the floor with their arms and legs chained against the wall. The figure was dressed in a tattered robe, with a hood that covered their face. Alcina looked at this person and said,
This is the legendary Dustface Ghost.
The person said,
I am. But, you're shackled here. That is what my master wanted.
What master?
The Nightmare Tyrant. Oh, the Nightmare Tyrant? I've heard of him. He rules the Nightmare Realm, doesn't he? Indeed. It is his evil that imprisoned the Dustface Ghosts. Ghosts? Indeed. But never mind, here he is.
From around a corner, a figure appeared. The figure was small, but ominous. They wore a long black cape, and the hood was up, hiding most of their face. The Nightmare Tyrant looked at the group and said,
I've been waiting for you. Who are these fine specimens?
This is Fluttershy, the Nightmare Queen. I know. This is Shadow Weaver, my faithful servant. And this is my host, Alcina Dimitrescu.
Ghost?
Indeed, she's a necromancer.
And I am Discord.
Discord added. The Nightmare Tyrant said,
I'm Nightmare Tyrant. The one you call Dustface Ghost is no more.
No more?
Yes, I've been feeding off her latent energy for some time, and she's all but withered away.
He explained.
The Dustface Ghosts were once a mighty and powerful society, but she selfishly took on their curses in a vain attempt to save her friends.
I've never heard of such a thing.
I'm not surprised, given how she's lived her life. Well, I must say you have shown yourselves to be far more competent than I ever expected, so let's get down to business. You have come to free this Dustface Ghost from her miserable prison, have you not?
We have?
Said Fluttershy.
That she will join us to help us defeat you.
Shadow Weaver added.
If you'll free me from my shackle,
The ghost said.
I'd be delighted to join you.
I was under the impression you didn't have much of a sense of humor.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
As if any of you have the power to slow me down.
Perhaps, but we are the forces of good. We can help but triumph. I suppose you had better unchain me then.
The ghost said. The Nightmare Tyrant said.
Bless my soul, so be it.
The Nightmare Tyrant shot out a bolt of dark energy, and the ghost was blasted into oblivion.
There they go.
No,
Fluttershy cried out.
not like that.
My queen. May I... to salvage your spirit.
Alcina said.
How?
I may not be able to get all of her, but I can get enough for our purposes.
She said.
No, don't do it. It's not worth it. Our soul is already damned.
Trust me, Fluttershy.
Alcina said as she slipped into the ghost dimension.
Get her back.
I shall.
Alcina said as she traveled to the ghost dimension. While Alcina dealt with the ghost, Discord said.
Fluttershy, we must go. We can't keep the Nightmare Tyrant waiting.
No,
Said Fluttershy.
not without the coast. We can't defeat him without the coast's help.
The Nightmare Tyrant chuckled, fading into the walls. It seemed as though he'd accomplished what he came to do. Meanwhile, in the dimension of ghosts.
Alcina,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
Do you know where you are?
Yes.
Can you tell where I am?
No.
I am within the Nightmare Realm.
I know.
Are you free? Can you get out?
Yes, I think so.
Then go from here. Hurry! Before the Nightmare Tyrant finds you.
I shall.
Alcina stepped into the void. By all accounts, it seemed to work. The ghost dimension was free of the Nightmare Tyrant's control.
Now! Let's go.
The Dustface Ghost grabbed Alcina's hand, and the Velvet Hammer pulled her back to the world of the living.
We've done it. We've escaped to the Nightmare Realm.
She said.
Yes, but the Nightmare Tyrant will still be free to torment Ghost.
Fluttershy rushed over to them, relieved that they'd made it back in one piece.
Thank goodness. I was so worried about you.
She said.
You weren't worried. You were worried because you wanted to keep the Nightmare Tyrant from getting us.
The Dustface Ghost said.
And you helped us. No, I only made it possible. Without my abilities, the Nightmare Tyrant would have never been a threat. What do you mean? When I was a living mortal, I was part of the planning committee that laid the groundwork for this place. I knew the best ways in and out of the Nightmare Realm. If the Nightmare Tyrant had ever bothered to read my books, he'd know as well. As it turned out, He didn't have to do so. I gave him all the information he'd need when I volunteered to be his prisoner.
What have you done?
I volunteered. It was the only way to save my friends.
You should have told us.
said Fluttershy.
We could have helped you.
I don't even know who you are.
The dust-faced ghost said.
But I am grateful you helped free me from the nightmare turret before it was too late.
This is the Nightmare Tyrant's doing.
Said Fluttershy.
If you hadn't put yourself at such great risk, none of this would have happened.
You might be right.
The group exited the dungeon, back to the lobby of the hotel where the man and woman were waiting. The dust-faced ghost's eyes lit up with recognition when she saw them.
Daphne. Fred.
She said.
You're still alive.
Of course we are.
Said Fred.
Why else would we be here?
So, where are you taking us?
Daphne asked.
You'll find out soon enough.
The dust-faced ghost led them to the elevator, which took them to the top of the hotel. She exited the elevator, and they followed her through several more floors until they reached a large room. A large metal sheet covered the area like, a metal sheet.
Stand back.
She said, and stepped onto the sheet.
Is this really necessary?
Asked Fred.
Yes.
Said Daphne.
Nightmares aren't pretty.
I think I felt something.
Said Fred.
When did you last do this?
I can't remember.
Said the dust-faced ghost.
But if you felt something, we should be safe.
I would be surprised if that were the case.
Said Fred. Daphne stepped up to the metal sheet and put her hand through the middle of it. She pulled her hand back out, and the sheet lifted up, revealing a staircase.
I'm starting to remember.
Daphne said.
We know each other, don't we? Yes, Daphne.
The dust-faced ghost said, tears welling in her eyes.
A long, long time ago.
Then what can't I remember?
Fred said.
Nightmare Turret.
Said Daphne.
It's over. He's dead. You're free. Not by a long shot, but I can undo some of his damage.
Daphne took out her handkerchief and blew her nose.
Does this mean we have to go back to the Nightmare Realm?
Asked Fred.
You never left it.
Oh,
Besides,
Said Daphne.
if we go back now, we can't come back.
why not?
Asked Fred.
Because
Said Daphne.
I don't have my wand, and the Nightmare Turret took my memory. I'm trapped there without a way to get back. You have to free me, Velma. You remember my name.
The dust-faced ghost said.
I haven't heard it said out loud in so long. That's because no one ever cared enough to talk to you.
Said Daphne.
Are you really going to leave without doing anything about the Nightmare Tyrant?
Fluttershy asked.
If I don't get my wand, he is.
Said Daphne.
I guess we don't have a choice.
Said Fluttershy.
Actually, I do.
Said Daphne.
I can go back.
No, you can't.
Said Fluttershy.
You just remember that I am the Nightmare Queen.
Daphne smiled and said.
I remember.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Do you think I'm pretty?
Daphne grinned.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Daphne smiled and said.
No, let's find my wand.
Actually, I know someone who might know what happened to it.
Shadow Weaver said.
An old friend of mine who collects lost magical items.
You must have a lot of old friends.
Said Daphne.
I'm just a wand collector, really.
More like a one counterfeiter.
Said Fluttershy.
Whatever.
Where is your friend?
Velma asked.
She lived in the Nightfall woods.
Shadow Weaver said.
I know the place.
Said Daphne.
I'll go get my wand.
You're welcome to stay here and keep me company.
Said Fluttershy.
We can search together.
No, thanks.
Said Daphne.
I'd rather go alone.
Daphne ran off, and Shadow Weaver said.
I hope she finds what she's looking for.
I want to go with her. Will you help me search?
Asked Fluttershy.
Of course.
They headed off and soon came to the Nightfall woods. They walked silently among the trees and soon saw a cottage. A young woman with pink hair stood in the doorway.
Hello,
She said.
can I help you? We're looking for a magical item. Do you know where we might find it?
Daphne asked.
That would be the secret. We've come far.
Said Daphne.
To tell her, really? I just work here.
Said the girl.
Do you know what the item is? It's a one.
Said the girl.
I tell you to ask the witch of thee. I came looking for that wand her whole life. I never found it. I'm my don't. I will.
Is that so?
Shadow Weaver asked.
But what about the witch who lives here?
I didn't want to talk to the boss.
The girl sighed.
I'll go get her right here.
She left, and in came a woman with an eerie smile and green skin.
You back,
She said.
and you brought so many friends.
How do you know who they are?
Ah, I know a lot about you, dear guest. I know you're looking for the Nightmare Tyrant's wand. I can get it for you.
It's not his wand.
Daphne pouted.
No, of course, like everything he owns, he stole it from another.
The witch said.
And if you are, I think you are, then this one has been waiting for you for quite some time.
Who are you?
Asked Daphne.
You don't remember me?
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm a witch by many names. We fought side by side once in another life.
Are you?
Daphne asked.
Are you? Are you the Butt Witch?
The very same.
But I thought the Nightmare Tyrant.
Is evil incarnate. He does not own. the simple items of this world. He has never owned a wand, for instance. That is why I'm here. I can get it for you.
I don't want it.
said Daphne.
You will want it. We'll get it and I'll bring it to you. Just wait here.
The woman left, and her aide smiled awkwardly at the group.
I'm sorry, I'm not tired. We're being things you have to wait a little while.
That's all right,
said Daphne.
I think we'll be here a while.
After the woman left, the group sat down again to wait. Discord leaned over and said,
What do you think this is? A nightmare court?
No, I just think it's funny.
said Fluttershy. Then the butt witch returned.
Daphne, I believe this belongs to you.
She said, brandishing a violet wand.
Thank you.
Said Daphne, taking it from her. She turned it over in her hand, examining it.
I don't know anything about magic. I don't even know anything about painting magic. Although they didn't know. Without I don't know. I don't
It will come back to you.
The witch assured her. Daphne looked frightened, but she said nothing. The witch then turned to the others.
I brought something for you as well.
She produced a small black cube from her pocket. After tapping a button on the side, a panel on one side slid aside with a low hum. The witch placed the cube on the table.
This is a teleport.
She said.
It will let you travel to another dimension. One that is close by in distance, but worlds apart in terms of magic. It will not let you travel to other dimensions. That is without the key.
Why would we want to do that?
Asked Shadow Weaver.
To get rid of the nightmare tile.
Said the witch.
To get rid of the nightmare realm.
I don't see how that's possible.
Said Shadow Weaver.
While they may not own the wand, can still use it to rule.
When he's gone, then you may rule.
Said Daphne.
Do you think that's likely?
Fluttershy asked.
Do you think I could rule?
The witch cocked her head to the side.
I don't know you,
She said.
but judging by your actions, I would say that you would make a better king than the nightmare tyrant.
How do you know I'm not a nightmare tyrant?
Asked Fluttershy.
Because if you were, you would have come here to kill me.
She said.
But you didn't.
I'm serious.
Said Fluttershy.
I know,
Said the witch.
but I don't think you're a nightmare tyrant.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Daphne, are you really leaving?
Asked Shadow Weaver.
I don't know.
Said Daphne.
Will he take care of my friends?
We will.
Said Shadow Weaver. Daphne smiled.
I wish I could stay,
She said.
but I have something I must do.
What?
Asked Shadow Weaver.
I'm not sure,
Said Daphne.
but it's very important.
What is?
I can't tell you,
Said Daphne.
Why not?
because if I did, all my friends would leave me.
Well, if you wish,
Said Shadow Weaver.
I'll stay.
Daphne stepped forward and hugged her.
Thank you.
They mention it.
Said Shadow Weaver.
Good.
Said Daphne. Daphne took the key and placed it in the slot. The door opened. So I thought that would be like a good cliffhanger to end on for this chapter. So when I was generating the previous chapter, I made up my mind that I wanted Velma to be in some way involved with the Dust-Faced Ghosts. Fred had one line about having an associate he hadn't seen in a while who knew about them, and I just figured it'd be a good way to bring in the final member of Mystery Incorporated. Then, with this chapter, the AI kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop by claiming that only one Dust-Faced Ghost remained. So I just decided to cast that ghost as Velma, which is why she appears the way she does here. Beyond pushing the AI to know that she had a history with Fred and Velma, I kind of left it up to its own devices for their reunion. So all the weirdness up in the room with like the metal sheet and the staircase and all that, that's just the AI doing its thing. At any rate, now that Daphne's taken more of a proactive role, we're actually going to start following her for a little bit now. So join me next time as we follow her on this mission she feels compelled to do with the wand that the AI decided to give her. I think it's going to be a fun time, so I hope to see you there. For now, if you happen to miss the previous episode, here's a clip.
Do you think you could travel to the stars?
The man asked.
If you went to the nightmare realm, you could travel to the stars.
I guess.
Said Fluttershy.
I've never tried anything like that before.
Here,
Said the man.
I have some space dust. Mix it with this and you might become a powerful teleporter when you sleep.
We don't know how it works, or what it's going to do to me.
The woman said.
I'm willing to gamble it'll be safer than traveling with these people.
The man said. He handed Fluttershy a box of raisins. She stared at it blankly.
What's this for?
It was my favorite snack as a little girl.
Said the man.
Here, you might need it.
Thank you.
Don't eat all of them.